existential battles about like, what is AI going to do and what is it not going to do? And really like what it's doing right now so far is just harvesting our information so that they can better sell crap to us on the internet. Like it just seems to me a real waste of the geniuses that they all proclaim to be. And right now, AI is not creating anything new. It takes a human being to make a leap in consciousness to a new idea. Welcome to the world of energy, where science meets spirit. Ancient wisdom merges with cutting-edge knowledge, and the possibilities for a healthier, happier you are endless. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Energy Works. Lauren here doing a solo. This kind of might fall under big ideas versus Energy Works. I'm not sure. Because in Energy Works, we oftentimes, most times, give you a technique that can help support you with what we're going to talk about. And, I was thinking about the topic that I want to talk about. The only technique I could come up with is this one. Hand over the forehead to help calm you down, no matter what has gotten you uncalm in the first place. So I was actually going to write this talk as an article, but then I thought, well, AI could just do that so much faster than me because I'll write it and edit and revise and all that. And so maybe I will just save my time and talk about this in real time, the way I would maybe brainstorm some ideas for an article. I'll just talk the article because what it's all about is AI and how AI stole my ellipse. So I am a writer. I've written 3 books, or I should say I've published 3 books. I've written, as many writers know, you write way more than usually gets out into the world, unless you're like Margaret Atwood with like 50 books. But I've published 3, and I write all the time. I write most frequently for our newsletter at Energy Medicine Yoga and the newsletter for What Would Lou Do? And I love to write, and I'm a good writer. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback for my emotional, connected style and the uniqueness in which I express my ideas. And one of the things that I use prolifically is the ellipse, which is 3 dots, although historically it has also been 3 dashes or 3, that little, I don't know what that little symbol is called, but when you make a mistake on a text and then you write that little star and what was supposed to be. So 3 of those little things together also used to be used more frequently as an ellipse. And it is standing in for words that you kind of put into your own mind or thoughts that I, as a writer, want you to think about as a reader instead of just giving you the answer, so to speak. But for the past, I don't know how long, months, maybe a year, the edits that I've been getting back when I submit my work, my newsletters or anything else is you can't use the ellipse and you can't use a dash because then it looks like chat or whatever. Any of those AI people, or they're not people, AI machines have written this. And it really bummed me out because it's part of my style. And so I just started deleting them, and just putting a period at the end of the sentence instead of an ellipse, which to me is like, keep thinking further, keep going deeper. There's more to this. Fill in with your mind what else is there so that it's a dialogue, it's a back and forth, it's a thought experiment. But I can't do that anymore because it looks like I'm AI if I do that. And so I was just sort of grumbling about it, but whatever, it is what it is, and I'll change and adapt because that's what humans do. But then I discovered that it really is a direct theft. So this fall, I got this big packet of thin papered mail that oftentimes, you get those and you just chuck them away. It's like your credit card company has got some $1 billion settlement and you're entitled to 5 cents if you fill out your paperwork and prove that you were wronged for your 5 cents worth of pay. So I didn't even look at it for a while until then I got an email from my agent and he was like, you should look at this. And I was like, okay, I guess I should look at this. A notice of a $1.5 billion proposed class action settlement between authors and publishers and Anthropic, PBC, which just hoovered up everything they could illegally to train their large language models on. And in that hoovering, I'm going to advertise it because they didn't, are my first 2 books. The Energy Medicine Yoga Prescription and Energy Medicine Yoga. I guess that one's the first one. Energy Medicine Yoga came first and then the Energy Medicine Yoga Prescription. These are my first 2 books. I poured everything I had into them. They've helped thousands, hundreds of thousands of people around the world. I make very little money on each book. I think I make less than $2 when you buy a book. But that's okay because this is the work in the world that I do and I want you to have this information. Well, Anthropic wanted that information too, but they didn't even want to pay me the purchase price of the book, $18.95 for the first one, $19.95 for the second, less than $50. They could have bought these 2 books, but they didn't. They stole them. And when they stole them, I believe that they stole my use of the ellipse. And now that's all over AI, that the ellipse is AI work, where it's really my work. And I'm sure there's other fabulous authors as well that use the ellipse that now can no longer because they'll be accused of being AI. So I go ahead and I put fill out the claim and all of that. And if you're super, super rich, you can refute the claim. And there's a few authors that are getting together to do that. But those of us who don't have a lot of money and are just held hostage by the billionaires that run the world, if this goes through, I think I'll get $2,000 for each book, which I'll split with my publisher. Hi, sounds true. And that will be that. They will just pay off their theft and probably admit no wrongdoing. And here's the thing about AI. I know not very much about AI. Let me just start with that. I just ordered a book about, that's kind of funny. I ordered a book to learn about AI because that's just how I roll. I am a Luddite, full disclosure, but I do want to know more about this. But what I know about it so far is not good. And all of these battles, these existential battles about like, what is AI going to do and what is it not going to do? And really like what it's doing right now so far is just harvesting our information so that they can better sell crap to us on the internet. Like it just seems to me a real waste of the geniuses that they all proclaim to be. And right now, AI is not creating anything new. It takes a human being to make a leap in consciousness to a new idea. These large language learning models are hoovering up all the information and then just kind of mushing it up and like sending it back out again in new ways. It's like, when you try to like make a new color and then by the end of it all, you'd mix so many colors together that you got, it just kind of looked like a puke color. Or when you try to make a soup with everything that's left in your fridge and you're like, that wasn't a good idea, I should have followed a recipe. I don't want AI to write the great American novel or to write the next Grammy award-winning song or to create an actor to be in the next AI-created film. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this, but I'm going to, and we're going to beep it out or bleep it out if I'm not allowed to. But really what I want to say is fuck that shit. AI should be like cleaning our toilets, cleaning up the messes all over the planet. They should be figuring out how to take the toxic Fukushima crap out of the ocean. They should be figuring out how to stop the wildfires from destroying the country and the smoke and all of it. There's so many problems that if we really wanted to figure out how to solve, that's what AI should be doing. Maybe that's what they're doing and they'll get to that later. I don't know what. But really, AI also needs to figure out why the humans that are in charge right now aren't taking care and fixing the problems that we know how to fix. We know how to feed, clothe, educate. We know how to grow food without poisoning the earth. We know how to practice medicine without making people sicker. We know how to create a healthcare system that isn't founded on extracting money from people who are dying. So really, I feel like AI, if you really want to put it to use, is figure out how to stop the greed. That's what I would put AI to do. Figure out how to transcend the massive, I'm going to use the word fragile egos of the people in charge of this planet right now. Because most of us on the ground here, we're doing our best. We get the compostable straws if we use them at all. We are composting. We are recycling. We are limiting our purchases and we're limiting our flying and our traveling. We're doing the best that we can. And the people that actually have the power to really make massive changes in the world, they're taking their 2 mega yachts to Norway to go skiing. Yes, I'm talking about you, Zuck. Or they're building boats that are so huge they have to take apart bridges to get past them. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jeff. They're redefining what their huge goals because they realize that they're unattainable and massive waste of resources, but they're just redirecting them to another massive waste of resources. Yes, I'm talking about you, Elon. A lot of the work that I do in these books that were stolen is teach about healing trauma. Maybe a lot of these billionaires were teased for being nerds, and this is their revenge, the revenge of the nerds. But the revenge of the nerds is going to destroy the planet before they get revenge. And the truth is, at the end of it all, at the end of the day, and at the end of all those stories that we learn from, they really just want to be loved. The Grinch, he just wants love. Scrooge, he just wants love. So if that's what you're really going for, I gotta say you're kind of going for it the wrong way. Maybe it's time to ask your AI how you could really feel loved. And then I would be happy that the thieving of my material would lead towards the answering of that question for those of you who don't know what it's like to be loved or to love so deeply and so completely that your own personal greed and self-interest become almost irrelevant. Once you open your heart, you realize you do want everyone else to have their needs met and to be happy too, because you want to walk down a street where all the people that you see are happy and healthy and whole and real. Real people living real lives, doing really good things. So AI, I don't know what to say to you now, except while you're in your nascent form, still creating yourself as you go, maybe start reading some of those books that you're stealing. Start reading what the Dalai Lama has to say. Start reading what Nelson Mandela has to say. Start reading the truths that you have sucked up into your AI brain cells and let yourself be educated by that. And then maybe AI could actually do something good in the world beyond a 7-finger creation. All right, everyone. If AI stresses you out the way it stresses me out, put your hand to your forehead, take a few deep breaths, and know that we will get through this together. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on another episode of Energy Works.
Alrighty, Energy fans, that's a wrap on another positively charged episode of Energy Works. Lauren, this is the part where we get to use our energy puns.
It's been electrifying, hasn't it, Blaine? We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
If you're feeling amped up and you want to keep your energy flowing, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform.
And we'd love to hear from you, so please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates, so light up our inbox.
And spark a conversation with your friends to tell them about us. And we'll see you next time on Energy Works.